In this video, I'm going to be going over the history of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe speedrunners. First, I'm going to start off with talking about the more normal and professional speedruns, but slowly I'll start to talk about the less known and weirder speedruns. So, let's go. Now, the first speedrun we're going to be talking about is the fastest time to complete the 48 non-DLC tracks without items, and here are the full rules. Now, the first run recorded for this was on May 1st, 2017, 4 days after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe first released, and the time was 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 52 seconds by Timeless. Now, even though this was a very respectable run, the world record was improved by 6 minutes and 36 seconds the next day by the player Uchiha Madao. Sorry if I said that wrong. Now, after this, the record kept getting improved every couple of days by a variety of different people until Uchiha Madao would set a new record time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 53 seconds. And this time would stay the world record for an entire 2 months until finally the player Star XLX would improve that time by 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Now, after that record, there was no insane new times, and currently the world record is 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 40 seconds, held by the player Kusan. And speaking of Kusan, he also has the world record in the 48 track and 96 track 150cc with item speedrun. And also, Kusan has been almost Grandmaster in every single lounge season of the 150cc lounge server. And he has been classified as one of the best players, if not the best player, for a very long time now. But we can't forget about Kusan's best world record, his cookie clicker world record. Now, before we start to talk about some of the other longer speedruns, let's get into the Mario Kart time trials. Now, obviously, if I talked about every single track and world record, this video would be super long. So instead, we're just going to be talking about the players that have tons of different world records and some of the best track world records. Now, the first person we're going to be talking about here is the Spain player Alberto. Now, currently, Alberto has 44 world records, and if you don't include the DLC, he is top 10 on the time trial leaderboard for 47 out of the 48 tracks on 150cc, and 48 out of 48 tracks on 200cc, so it's honestly just insane how good this guy is. Now, not only that, Alberto also has an average global position of 3.854 for all 96 tracks. So that means that out of every single time, he averages about 3rd place on the leaderboard for all tracks in the entire game. And honestly, if you look at any other time trial category, Alberto will most likely be at the top, and that just shows how good he is. Some other insane time trial players are Army, who has an average global position of 6.906, Vincent, who has an average global position of 8.125, and Pi, who has an average global position of 11.010. Now, the next speedrun we are going to be talking about is the 150cc 96 track no item speedrun, and here are the full rules. Now, obviously, you guys probably know that Wave 6 didn't actually release that long ago, so obviously this world record doesn't have too much history to it, but I still think it is important to talk about. Now, the first time recorded for this run was a 4 hour, 2 minutes, and 36 second run by F2 Fast. And to be honest, I really feel bad for F2 Fast here because he spent over 4 hours on his run and it literally got beaten later the same day. And it was improved by 6 minutes and 7 seconds. But now the world record is 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 33 seconds by Polron, which is 20 minutes less than the original run by F2 Fast. Now, that was obviously the 96 track 150cc no item speedrun, but I also want to talk about the one that has items in it, because there was actually a little world record rivalry between the two players Gyarados and Danny_Fathom. Now, Danny Fathom would get the first record out of the two with a 3 hour, 58 minutes, and 46 second run.
Woo! Yes, sir! First ever sub 4 hours.
But then 1 day and 22 hours after Danny got the record, Gyarados took the record from him and improved his time by 1 minute and 43 seconds. And this also was Gyarados' first world record in this category.
But you're about to witness a world fucking record. Not sub 357, unfortunately. Would have been cool. GG's. We got it.
Now, about 3 days after this run happened, Danny Fathom took the world record back, improving by a total of 6 seconds.
Yes! 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 Oh my god, yes!
So as you clearly saw, he was just a little bit more happy this time than he was last time for getting the world record.
Woo! Yes! Yes!
But all this happiness would go away when 2 days later, Gyarados would beat his time by 48 seconds, and then Gyarados would improve his own time again by 10 seconds. And after this, Danny never beat his record again. But then, out of nowhere, Kusan just came and got the world record by 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and that is the current world record for this category. Now, even though Gyarados didn't have this record, he has the world record in the Wave 3 and 4 150cc with item speedrun, the Wave 1 and 2 150cc with item speedrun, and all these other speedruns on screen now. It's honestly insane how many world records he has. Now we're going to start getting into the really weird speedruns. The speedruns that technically are official on speedrun.com, but just aren't like what someone would expect a Mario Kart speedrun to be. The first speedrun we're going to be talking about is the Blue Shell Yourself speedrun. And we're going to be talking about the no custom items category. We will talk about the custom items category right after this one. Now the first recorded run was 48 seconds and 584 milliseconds by Sim Lola 661. Now that was a pretty quick time, but 10 days later the record was improved by 5 seconds and 451 milliseconds. 3 days after that it was improved by 2 seconds and 266 milliseconds. And then 1 day later it was improved by 333 milliseconds. And now the time was all the way down to 0 minutes 39 seconds and 567 milliseconds. Then a couple days later the time was all the way down to 35 seconds 983 milliseconds by Skillaz. And that time would stand for 3 months and 23 days. And it would be beaten by Strongman Lin, who would beat it by 500 milliseconds, so literally half of a second. But then 1 month and 28 days later, Skillaz would set a new record time of 34 seconds and 867 milliseconds. And that is the current world record for this category. But now we're going to be talking about the Blue Shell Yourself custom item speedrun. And this speedrun is so close. The leaderboard is just insane. Obviously, with custom items, you can turn on Blue Shell only, and that's what everybody does to get the world record. Now, I already talked about how Skillaz has the world record in the no custom items Blue Shell Yourself speedrun, but he wanted the world record in both categories, and he actually set his first world record in the custom items speedrun on December 11th, 2022. And this was a 4-second, 417 millisecond time. Now after this, Skillaz would improve his time to a 4-second, 333 millisecond run, but then Null would steal his world record with a time of 4 seconds, 317 milliseconds. But about 10 months later, Skillaz would set a new record time of 4 seconds and 150 milliseconds, and this is the world record currently. And that was the history of Mario Kart speedruns. If you want to see me do another more in-depth video on Mario Kart speedruns, comment down below, subscribe, like, and peace.